Hey, YouTube and viewers. Anyone interested in the topic of foxes might be interested in thinking about this. Sorry, I don't have a good media production. Maybe I can do that in the future, create better content with video and just video editing and a media production, make it more interesting. But this one is just me. These videos are just me kind of talking about, discussing, and I think those can be boring too, I guess, depending. Doesn't have all the glitz and glamour of visuals and putting words on the screen and different camera angles and motion and all the candy that you can get, all the fun stuff you can get in a good video production, or just things that it can be artistically and visually pleasing or beautiful or whatever. But back to this fox thing. So the other day, again, this is just a blog, I guess, talking about stuff. Almost like a journal, video journal or blog. I guess that's what kind of maybe one way you could look at some blogs would be like a video journal or something. So the other day, I was looking at Instagram, saw someone with a fur coat, which I said in the other video, I think, and I looked up a little information on trapping, saw this Canadian trapping. But now here, the next day or a day or two later, I got up, went outside, and stood there in front of the apartment building, and probably 10 to 20 feet in front of me at the bottom of the stairs, there's a small lawn area now covered with snow. It just snowed a little bit. And then a river or a creek, some type of creek or river, I guess, whatever it is, and some trees. But right in front of me on the lawn, going from left to right, just walking by, was a fox. Right there. Didn't look at me. Didn't seem to care that I was there. Again, 10 to 20 feet in front of me. You go down the stairs to the bottom of the stairs, there's a little section of lawn, a little section of space there, and it just walked by, completely slow pace walking. And I looked up the foxes in Minnesota, and there's the red fox, and then there's a lesser common gray fox. I didn't think it was gray, all gray. When I saw it, I just thought, oh, of course, that's a fox. And I probably had the reddish, brownish fur. Of course, memory can be memory, but just maybe an hour or two ago. So it's interesting in one sense. This is more subjective now, but it's interesting in one sense. I was just thinking and created that video about trapping, about all the trapping that goes on in Canada and the history of trapping. And I was reading on all this trapping that goes on in Canada. Like there are 400 to 500 people who do it full time, as declare it as like an occupation. And then like hunting in Minnesota, people go hunting in hunting season, but apparently there are, I don't know if it was up to 80,000 people in Canada who just do this, like probably like hunting season. They just on weekends or on their off time, they said. However good a source of information that was, I don't know. But it was really, it's a very beautiful animal. And then if you're thinking about adoring this creature or thinking about it as beautiful, and just, then your psychology could say, like, isn't it atrocious to catch this animal in a trap and make it feel pain for days if it's sitting there in a trap with his leg cut and like inhumane thing. And then you can think of thought like Animal Cops Houston. You can't do that to a pet in Houston or whatever the case may be. It's against the legal code and illegal to abuse a pet, right? In a lot of these places, or maybe I suppose that varies county to county, state to state, everywhere, whatever the rules on that are. But then you can also think of thought like the meat industry. Look at all the meat. There's endless meat, farming, ranching, meat. So you can think about that topic. And of course, you have animal fur farms. But like this article was saying, with activism that rose in the 90s or whatever it was, then this stuff went down because there's activism against it. Then you can think another thought like this: impossible meat. You got people working on fake meat or vegetarian meat that tastes like meat. The Impossible Whopper you see at Burger King, or all these brands creating this fake beef or fake meat, vegetarian meat. So you can see how my mind can go from, as you think about this, anyone's mind can go from this side of the topic to this side of the topic. Now, this is really esoteric and subjective. I thought, I could video record this fox. So I went for my cell phone, but I left it inside. It wasn't in my pocket. And as soon as I went for my cell phone, as soon as I thought the thought and went for the cell phone to video record it, he was already past me. He or she, the fox, was already past me, past the front and going this way. But as soon as I did that, he picked up the pace a little bit. He walked faster. All of a sudden, right at the very moment I thought of video recording it, and I was not making any sound. He wasn't looking at me. He's already passed me. But it just so happens that right when I did that, he picked up his pace and walked faster. But it was a red fox, I think. It says there are two in Minnesota, red and gray. You can look at a fox chart. You pick up Google Bing Images or Google Images or Bing Images or whatever. And they have a chart with all these foxes on there, but that's probably the whole world or whatever, whole globe. But two in Minnesota, a red fox is what this probably was. It had the bush. I noticed the tail was like, it's kind of like so thick, it's like rounded. I think it's not like a really thin cattail. It's like a rounded big puff of fur. And boy, I guess that's the end of my fox video. Not much more to say. I could keep repeating the event over and over. I was just standing there at the top of the stairs. And this fox simply, from left to right, across in front of me, just walked right on by, didn't appear to even look at me or notice me. Just walked right on by at a fairly slow pace, or regular pace, just walking pace.